Woohoo! And hello for another episode of Finding Data Friends, the most professional podcast ever out there, and it is even recorded. I mean,
Whew,
how cool is that?
so good.
Exactly. We have a new guest this week, Emilia. Thank you for
Hello.
joining us. How are you
Thank you
doing?
for having me.
And want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Um, my name is Emilie Rønning. I'm from Norway, and I'm a data engineer. And I actually spoke to Katrine and Marte about these introductions because they're always so hard. And Katrine said, well, you should just ask Marte to write one for you. Never got around to that. So that was my boring introduction about myself.
Okay, so we blame Marta for not doing her homework, even though she didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
but I'm all for blaming her for it. I mean, this is entirely on her. I mean, the other thing that you could have done is ask like ChatGPT to introduce yourself, but that could have ended up in a very funny, but also in a very weird way, especially if there's potentially someone around that has the same or a similar name. So
Oh, yeah. That would have been exciting. I'll do
maybe
that
we
next
should
time.
just go to all that for all future episodes. We don't ask people personally anymore. We just ask all these 3 questions to ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT,
Smart.
what's Emilia's favorite data feature? And then ChatGPT will come up with all kinds of stuff. That's obviously none of that is true, but I mean, we're not here for the truth. We're here to have a good time, right?
We're here
Exactly.
to have fun, right?
Exactly.
100%.
Anyways, due to lack of a prepared ChatGPT answer, Emilia, what is your favorite data thingy?
Ooh, that is a difficult question to answer, for sure. And I've been thinking about this for a while. And as I am fairly new to the data world, just around 3.5, 4 years, I still consider myself as, a newbie. And I have the attention span of a puppy. So like every week there's one new thing that I'm like, ooh, this is exciting. I want to check that out. But what has been consistent for my entire career has been Azure Databricks. So I would have to say Azure Databricks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I really like the phrase "I have the attention span of a puppy" because that's a much nicer way than how I usually describe my attention span. So I'm 100% going to steal that going forward.
Yeah.
What would be the alternative to the attention span of a puppy, Jess? How would you describe it? And by the way, squirrel.
Like the opposite. Yeah, Ooh. The opposite of the puppy attention span.
Not exactly the opposite, but more your non-so-friendly way of describing it.
I'm just always distracted and I complete half tasks all over the place. Like I got home from a conference last week, right? And my wife was at work in the morning and I managed to half unpack my suitcase, half do the laundry, half load the dishwasher, and then did some work. So it was just a really productive morning, you know?
Half productive. But then again,
Yeah.
half, that's 0.5, you can round up, so everything's done.
Smart. And then she came home and she did the completion part because she's much better at that than me. So
You're such a great team.
I know. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah,
There's also that.
that is true.
Just like
Anyway.
yesterday when I was pinging Jess about something entirely different, she was like, did I forget a meeting?
Well, I was thinking it was this, and I'd seen it on the calendar for the next day, right? And I was like, I think that's tomorrow. Well, am I supposed to be somewhere? So yeah, I think it didn't help that your message just said "yo." I was like,
Well, potentially I wasn't trying to be helpful, but
right, no problem.
because I never am. That's not my jam. That's not what I do.
Right.
But
anyway,
maybe
talking about the attention span of the puppy, we've got completely sidetracked.
I love
Azure
that
Databricks.
very multiple of us.
that never happened to us
Very
before.
common.
That never happened before. It's very common. People are getting distracted again, including us. Anyways, let's circle back. Like I'm going to say 3 minutes ish. Azure Databricks.
Yeah.
Give us like the 30-second overview, what it does, and why it's your favorite. Because we were just talking about that in the previous episode. There's so much in our field that even if you've been in the field for 10, 20, 30, whatever years, there's always something that you have no idea what it even. And I'm pretty sure Azure Databricks is one of these things for many of us, and by many of us, I think about myself, and Jess. I've heard the term before, but I've never used it. So, what is it? Why would I use it? What
Yeah.
does it
So,
replace?
and it's really nice that you say that, because I am terrified of not ever knowing everything, and I know that that's going to happen at some point, or it's happening as we speak. But yeah, so it's reassuring that, yeah, that's totally normal. But yeah, no, Azure Databricks, it's so much more than what I have used it for. What I have used it for is as a transformation tool in my data platform. So I'm doing all of the transformation, the data transformation in my ETL process with Databricks. And I've used Databricks with ADF, Azure Data Factory. So yeah, only the transformation. And I've used notebooks to create tables and insert the data that is needed, and yeah, the transform data. And yeah, I've really grown fond of the bronze, silver, and gold medallion architecture that they have. But yes, so mostly for the transformation part. And I know that Maggie, one of the MVPs in Norway, she has used it in a totally different setting. So yeah, we have different inputs on how to use it. But for me, transformation layer in my data platform.
Very cool.
Yeah.
On the not knowing everything part, let me assure you, I've been working with SQL Server since the 90s, and I don't know half. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's
I think
half of SQL Server. That's not even half of everything. So,
right. I think
and I
it's
don't think we have to be quite honest.
Yeah. And what is nice about it is that you can still work with it for so long and you never grow tired, right?
Oh, I'm so tired, but that's different.
I think that imposter syndrome feeling will like is for most of us, right? The same thing. Like you can never know everything. You can focus on a few things, or you can be focus on more things but at a less deep level. But yeah, you can't ever know everything, that's for sure.
That is true. That is true. We just had a Women in Tech for Lunch session a couple of weeks ago about imposter syndrome. And it was a really great meeting, just to kind of hear everybody's thoughts and experiences on imposter syndrome, because everybody has it at some point in time, and it's just more about how you react to it and how you can use it for your own benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the lunch that Marta was organizing?
Yes.
Is that the first one?
No, we had one prior to that as well.
Okay.
But she is a great organizer, so
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw her post something about it on LinkedIn a while ago, and I love that idea. That's super cool. How many people were there?
we're about 40 in our group, I think, as
Oh
of now.
wow! Of
Yeah, but
all women in tech,
yes, in Oslo.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
That's
cool.
pretty
really
cool.
nice. So
Yeah, that's really cool.
I do like that idea. I'm going to say something that I already said on the past episode, just to add on the entire Databricks thing again, because I think it is so super important. And I've just recently had a bunch of talks with people where I'm like, keep that in mind. Do some introductory level talks, especially for people that are also, you're fairly new to the speaking world, if I may say so,
yeah,
given that your first presentation was back in May at New Stars. I know
very
there's a
new,
bunch of
still very new.
presentations coming up, and we can talk about that in a sec. But I keep hearing people, honestly, often including myself, they're like, well, I don't really know what to talk about next. And there's so many things, and it does not really matter how long you've been to the feed. There's so much also intro level stuff. You're like, well, Deborah on the last episode was, well, this is pretty basic. I'm like, well, basic is good because there's people that have no idea what you're talking about and they need basic. If you tell me how to do this exact specific performance tuning thingy in Databricks, it's not going to help me because I'm like 10 miles
Right.
away from that. So
That
Yeah,
is
I think we often try and find like the most niche, deep level topic, right? And actually doing something that more people could use, like an introduction or a getting started, or even real world examples, right? Like would be way more beneficial for the majority of us. No, I agree.
yeah, that's true. That is really good input. I'll put that on my list.
Also, niche isn't always sustainable. Just saying. BDC.
Oh no. Sad Ben
There
again.
go there go the tears again. Exactly.
All right. Well, so before we upset Ben with his slightly dead friend, we'll move on to.
It's not even cold yet.
Oh, is it not?
It has a like 6-month lifespan.
Does
left.
it? Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah,
Still
2024 is when it. I
plenty of
still
time.
would not expect it to go anywhere in the next 6 months, but in theory, it is still around.
Okay.
You can still purchase licenses.
Great.
Not that
Well, before we get you any more upset, we'll move on and ask what your favorite non-data thing is to get up to when you're not playing around in Azure Databricks. What do you get up to? What's your favorite thing?
I am so boring that I'm going to say all things TV shows. And I
Okay.
know that Ben already knows this, but I do like to watch multiple shows at the same time in parallel. So
Like running at the same time?
no.
Okay.
But like one episode here and there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Attention span of a puppy. Remember
Well,
that.
that's what I was thinking. Just like
No, but I've been watching Game of Thrones and Sons of
Mm.
Anarchy and all things related to Yellowstone
okay.
past months. But I also discovered a new type of entertainment, or at least new to me, which is audiobooks.
Mm.
And I've
Okay.
started to listen to Andy Serkis reading the Lord of the Rings and the Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and it's been a journey for me because I'm one of those people that I love Lord of the Rings, like love. And when I started to listen to the audiobook, I was just like, no, that's wrong. It doesn't happen like that. No, Pippin didn't say that. That was Frodo. And so Peter Jackson, he ruined me completely. So no, I can't really, uh, yeah, enjoy.
So like comparing the movies to the books, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's all wrong in the book, which is really
Right.
sad.
Gotcha. Well, good news for you. I have neither read the books or seen the movies, so
Oh my God.
I know.
Well,
I'm
you
so
know,
glad that this time
weekend.
you're the one that is upsetting our new friends, so they don't
know.
want to be friends with either of us anymore.
Last time it was you. One of us has got to do
Come on, Jess, you can't say something like that to a nerd.
Well, you
I
know
know.
you're going to do the first rainy weekend in this summer.
it. True.
When you come to Oslo in September, I will ask you if you have seen the movies, and I expect
Okay.
you get.
Okay, I'll do my best. They're just very long, right? I'm much better at watching TV shows than I am movies, partly because of the attention span of the puppy, but I can easily watch like 6 episodes of a 30-minute show, but like watching a 3-hour movie, I can't commit to that.
Well, you could just read the book, especially for The Hobbit, because the book is like this and the movie is like that. So,
That is true. That is
Okay.
true. And also, one hot tip from Marte is that you could also watch the movies in bulks. So, like, divide them up in 1.5 hour sessions.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, I only see
in-
solutions, no problems with this.
You're
in
right. I
regular
see a lot of
movie
solutions.
length-ish.
Right.
Yeah.
Because how long are they? Like 3 hours plus, right?
Yeah. If you go for the extended version, which I recommend, but
So now I can't even watch the regular movie. I'm watching the extended 7-hour version.
And then you got to watch it again with the director's audio commentary, you know?
I've got a new full-time job.
There's that. Sorry, William. I don't make the rules here.
What do I put that in for my timesheet? Just learning? I think so.
learning. Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
It makes it's the closest match. It makes the most sense.
Perfect.
But we were speaking about Emilia's speaking career, and you also just briefly mentioned Oslo. So before we get to our last official question, where else can we see you present later on this year?
Ooh, my schedule is filling up. Let me tell you, it's been a ride this year. I guess it's a year of new things for me. But yeah, so it's Oslo Data Saturday in September, followed up closely by SQL Conference in September. Then I'm going to Data Mines in October. And then I'm finishing up the year, as of now, in Seattle at PAS in November.
Amazing. Congrats.
Yeah.
Those are some great conferences to speak at.
And it also shows that someone was pretty certain that speaking is for her, because given that Emilia already, well, see, that takes us back to us speaking about stuff before stuff is actually known, because at the time of the recording, regular sessions have not been announced yet for the PAS Summit. But since you're in a learning path,
Yeah.
that have already been announced. You're good. You're good. What was I going with? At this point, people would already have known. But anyways, what I was going with is that means, given your first presentation was in May and your submission for the PAS Summit was 6 months before that, you must have had a very good idea that speaking is actually for you. So,
well, I do
bold
love
move, but it seems to pay off. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I hope it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun, but as of now, I'm still pretty nervous. But that will disappear once I get on stage. I know that now.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
oh, it will be fun. I'm 100% sure of that. Plus, there will always be presentations where you walk off stage and you're like, well, this wasn't great, or that demo didn't work, or whatever. There will be another one. It doesn't really matter. And at least I was under the impression that you were enjoying presenting when I saw your presentation for New Stars. So
Very much
I
so.
got a good feeling about the other things. I will be at 3 of those mentioned events as well, so maybe I get a chance to see 1 or 2 of these sessions as well.
Yeah.
If I'm not scheduled in the same time slot, I have to double check. At least for the events where I can actually do something around the schedule.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It will be fun.
digressing again. All these.
Focus.
Hang on. This allows me to do something that I haven't done in a very long time. It's the
Perfect.
time over warning button. But we still got another question, I guess. So
The most important question.
it's the question that this entire podcast is about. It's almost in the title, and by almost, I mean it's not.
Am I asking the question, or are you asking the question?
Oh,
I'm asking the
I'm
question.
asking the question. I think
Okay.
I'm so non-professional. We're driving this RV/van/bus/truck. I have no idea what we're driving at this point.
A mystical machine.
We're driving a thing with wheels. And in the beginning, we were trying to kidnap people, but it turns out we don't have to, because people just jump on the van because, I mean,
We're cool.
we're the cool kids table, I guess.
Yep.
That's what I've been dreaming of my entire nerd school life, I guess. However, long trips make us hungry.
Ooh.
So, is there any good food that you could recommend we're having? And by the way, new rules are you actually have to prepare that food for the next people we're abducting. So,
Done. Yeah, I know what I want. Or I want 2 things, and I know that you can answer the first one. My favorite drink.
sparkly, bubbly, cremant.
Yes. Correct. So we need that. We definitely need that. But food-wise, I would say that I could eat Norwegian tacos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we're gonna do Norwegian tacos, and since I have to be able to prepare it, it suits the kidnapping wagon.
This is great news for my trip to Norway, because what is a Norwegian taco?
Thank you.
I know. Yeah. So I think it's a pretty normal taco. It's
Okay.
just a bit different, or at least I lived in Copenhagen back in 2016, and my American and Australian friends, they were like, yeah, it's a bit weird, and so I was like, no, it's not, but that's fine. So we named it Norwegian tacos.
Okay.
And Norwegian tacos became really, really popular like 15 years ago. So every family eats it on Friday night. And so yeah, it's really popular. And the thing is that you have to have a Norwegian prepared, otherwise it's not Norwegian tacos. So
Great.
yeah.
What are you doing in September?
She's preparing
Preparing
tacos.
Norwegian
Listen,
tacos
Jess,
for you,
listen.
obviously.
Amazing. This is perfect. I look forward to it.
It is really good. Really good.
Does it have chocolate and pineapple in it?
No.
That's a good thing.
Not yet.
It was a trick question.
You could have dessert tacos.
Rules coming regarding the Norwegian tacos. So yeah,
Okay.
you have to follow all of them.
Smart.
I mean, also a smart move on coming up with that. You have to have a Norwegian actually prepare for you because, now we
Otherwise, it's just a taco.
Mm. And you
It's just a regular taco, but prepared by a Norwegian. Okay, now it all makes perfect.
Don't reveal all of my secrets.
Perfect.
You really should not have recorded any of those.
Yeah. No one will watch it. It's fine. No. Well, on that note, we're kind of drawing to the end of our episode. I just want to thank you so much for joining us and letting us get to know you a little bit. And we'll see you at some conferences in the future. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks, Ben.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.